What's up YouTube, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and this is the Huawei P10. Now, I'm a little bit late to get to this unboxing and I've had lots of other things on, but to mix things up, I will have the Huawei P9 and we'll also be looking at some of the differences between the P9 and P10. So let's go ahead and get straight into the box. First thing you'll notice is that this box is pretty dope. This is a very cool way of opening a box. I think everybody should have this. All manufacturers take note. Anyway, so there is the phone. Now, I believe this is the Mystic silver color. We'll put this to the side for just a second while we check what else is in here. So, first little box has a SIM card ejector tool, a case, very nice. It's like a soft/hard case, clear one. I always like it when manufacturers include a case within the box. It just makes things so much easier. And we have a quick start guide. And in this compartment here, we have a USB Type-C to USB Type-A cable, and it's purple. Not sure why it's purple, but it's cool. We also have some earphones, and finally there is the power brick, which has supercharge, so you've got fast charging on here as well. Cool, so that's everything inside the box. Let's move it out of the way. And here is the phone, so we'll open this up. Nice. All right, so I think this has a pre-applied screen protector, so we'll take this off. And very nice. So it does have a pre-applied screen protector on here. Once again, a very nice touch, so you're not going to have to faff around and try to find a screen protector and put it on, which is always a bit of a challenge. It's already pre-installed. So let's go ahead and boot this up, and while it's booting up, I'm just going to have a quick look around the device and compare it to the P9. So the screen is actually slightly small. It's 5.1 inches compared to 5.2 inches, but you still got a full HD display. Now the P10 Plus has a Quad HD display. You've only got full HD on here. At the top, you can see the earpiece as well as a front-facing selfie cam. This time it is 8 megapixels with an f1.9 aperture. Last time we had 8 megapixels but an f2.4 aperture, I believe. So this should improve in terms of your low light. Now on the bottom side of the front, there is a fingerprint scanner. So we now have it at the front compared to the back. The back actually worked really well and fine on the P9, but personally I do prefer fingerprint scanners on the front. Comes down to personal preference. I'm not sure what you prefer. Now flipping the device around, you can see the key standout feature here from the P series, and that is that dual camera setup without any camera bump, which is always a good touch. So we have a very similar setup to what we had last year, and that is an Rgb sensor as well as a monochrome sensor. These are going to work together to give you some better colors and things, as well as the depth of field effect, which I think worked best on the P9 last year compared to any of the other smartphones out there. Now, last year we had 12 megapixels for both, but this time we have 12 megapixels for the Rgb sensor, as well as 20 megapixels for the monochrome sensor. We still have an f2.2 aperture. If, however, you do go for the P10 Plus, then that does have an f1.8 aperture. Now, we still have the Leica branding here, and that is because the cameras have been co-engineered by Leica, like we had with the P9. So not made by them, co-engineered. And some of the key improvements that we have on the P10 compared to the P9 is the fact that we now have optical image stabilization, which was lacking on the P9, and also 4K video. Last year, this was a big downside for the P9, the fact that we didn't have any 4K video. This is something that has become quite a bit of a norm on smartphones these days, so not having it on the P9 was definitely a downside. Now, looking around the bottom, very similar setup, so USB Type-C, a 3.5mm headphone jack, a mic as well as a bottom-facing speaker. At the top, we just have a secondary mic. On the side is a volume rocker as well as a textured power button. No major changes on the left-hand side either, because you still have the SIM card tray, which supports either a SIM card as well as a micro SD card, or 2 SIM cards as well, so you do have that dual SIM card functionality. Now we still have a premium build, but there's definitely a change. It's more curvy on the back and it does feel a little bit nicer in the hand. We do see these antenna lines here, which have definitely been inspired from somewhere. So now we have this booted up and we are running Android Nougat with the EMUI on top of this. So a very familiar experience compared to the P9. And we do have 4GB of RAM on here with 64GB of onboard storage. There is an octa-core processor which is improved to last year, so we should see some improvements here. You also have a slightly bigger battery on the P10, 3200 mAh compared to 3000 on the P9. And I know a lot of you guys are interested to see the camera of this, and I'll definitely try to do a camera comparison with some of the newer devices that are going to be upcoming, such as the G6 as well as the Samsung Galaxy S8. And if you want to see those first, then make sure you hit that thumbs up button to let me know. If there's anything else that you'd like me to cover with the P10, then drop that in the comment section below. If you haven't already, then be sure to subscribe and switch on notifications to see all of the latest content first. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. I'll see you next time.